welcome to Fiber Trek. My name is Sarah. Welcome. You are most welcome on this creative journey here in the North Woods of Maine. On this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you some more bookbinding projects. There will be updates on knitting and the Wiola Designs Knit Along, and I will be talking a little bit about some travel that's upcoming. If you are a patron or have contributed financially through Ko-fi, a deep, heartfelt thank you. I am encouraged and humbled. I'm so glad that you're all here. Let's catch up.
I won't get close to your heartache if you won't open your door. I'm feeling kinda lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking your chest. I can see it in your eyes that you're shaking 'cause you're holding it back. Maybe you'll make up your mind, now I'm here by your side. So let it all out of me. Let it all out of me. Oh, I will hold you in the dark, make you forget about what's wrong. Let it all out of me. Let it all out of me. You won't get closer to me if you won't open your door. If that's what you want, then baby try to believe me when I say that you can tell me anything. I can see it in your eyes that you're shaking 'cause you're holding it back. Maybe you'll make up your mind, now I'm here by your side. So let it all out of me. Let it all out of me. Oh, I will hold you in the dark, make you forget about what's wrong. Let it all out of me.
Well, we are back to bookbinding and books this week. Thank you so much for your insightful comments about my quandary over the content here and the momentum with this project and keeping it fresh and moving it forward without getting kind of stuck in this constant state of newness. So I appreciate your help in creating new frameworks around how I want this project to move forward. Thank you for taking the time to do that. I also, as you know, like to make sure that I reiterate my deep appreciation for those that contribute financially, whether that's through the subscription platform Patreon or through Ko-fi. The investment certainly helps with production, administration, my time, and it allows me to offer ad-free versions of the vlog out there to the world. I use Vimeo. Those are uploaded at my blog, fibertrek.wordpress.com, so you can watch advertisement free over there if you so choose. So thank you so much. My Patreon is a $6 a month subscription, and I upload bonus content over there. It's typically one studio vlog a month, so with any luck you get 3 videos. And I do feature projects over there that I'm not necessarily always talking about here, so there is a little mystery to what's going on out there in my world somewhere. So thank you so much for donating or for subscribing, and also for providing your insight and feedback. I like to make sure that this is a two-way exchange and not just a myopic view of one person's creativity. I appreciate the value you all bring to the project. Back to the books. So last time we were together, I was working on this brown linen book. I had done the signatures and stitched those, And I'm just so in love with these end papers and this brown linen. I did these last summer using the heat press from Jane Dunvald's tutorials, and this is the back. So this is a case binding, scrap brown linen, and heat pressed end papers. So a little bit of a surprise. And I am using Handmade Books at Home by Chanel Lee. I have referenced that book and also featured a little look through on previous episodes. And so for this book, getting back into it, I did a lot of referencing step by step, next. But this weekend, for this book, I had minimal referencing. So I did a lot independently, which was a really great feeling, because I feel like now that I have this basic process, mostly independent, it's easier to move about and finesse the actual skill. So here it is. This one is finished. Again, I used my heat pressed end papers, and I added some of the Tim Holtz spray stains on this to get a little color. And just a cotton linen case binding. You saw me working on that. And again, Chanel Bitter Melon Bindery does a lovely job not only explaining it in a very technical way in her book, but she also has a number of tutorials on her YouTube channel, Bitter Melon Bindery, that are very well produced, very informative, visually helpful. So I would recommend, if you're interested in working with books and working on different types of binding structures, to check her out. So these two are done, and it was so great to just build some skill without necessarily, any bigger project in mind than just to have some books. I have aspirations of doing a exposed spine stitched watercolor leather bound sketchbook. There's a lot of adjectives in there, I think, descriptors, and I wasn't sure the order they should go in. But that's kind of what I've been thinking about. I still, again, have some books I want to rebind in my library, but this was a really good skill builder. So journaling in general has always been really important to me. I have loved books. I love that you can use, as you saw, a variety of different surface designed materials that you make yourself into something more practical and pragmatic. So all of the gel plate papers and paper marbling, heat press, botanical printed pieces, even making your own book cloth using natural dyes or plants. You can really bring a lot together. I kind of chatted a little bit about that last time on the last episode. And so, books have been a big part of my art journey in general, because I do love to do art journaling, and I would like to get back to a more regular kind of experience with that now that I am reframing the way I think about my creative work here in production and also personally. And I've used art journals not only just for practice and sketching and inspiration, but I've used it as a spirit bolster when I have worked with my oracle cards and asking questions and kind of deepening my understanding of what's happening in the world around me and accessing, more support in a spiritual way. So I have a lot of different avenues for books, journaling, and art. And I was really excited to see that Cozy Publishing, one of my favorite publishing companies, I've featured quite a few of their books, Arctic Knitting and the Nordic Winter Cookbook, just to name two. But I saw they have Canvas for Creativity, A Gentle Guide to Art Journaling. This is by Anni Peltola. And I picked this up before the holidays, and I just thought, hey, I have lots of different books on techniques and using specific materials, but I don't have one necessarily on prompts or framing up an art journal. So I picked this up. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you so you can take a peruse and again see if this is something that works for your library. It has a really nice layout. It is informative and instructional around materials and around prompts, finding time, what types of things to to gather, and then it also has projects. So it kind of has like a finding space and time for creativity. You know, these are the materials, and then projects kind of scattered throughout. It is a very text-rich book. There are, you know, beautiful pictures, which Cozy Publishing definitely has going for it. But I would say compared to some of my other books, it's very instructional text-wise. So let's take a look at this new book. Welcome to the fiber portion of the episode. I have finished the Metropolitan Pullover, so we can chat a little bit about that, what I'm thinking about casting on, and a couple events that I have upcoming very soon. So let's just start with this really great knit. I used Plotolopi and a strand of Gotland lace from the Grey Sheep Company that I purchased while in Edinburgh, which is giving it that marled effect. It is the Metropolitan Pullover by Tori, and there are a few modifications that I made, and one of them is the neckline. I did not follow her directions. I just picked up and cast off with an I-cord bind off, and I decreased really quite quickly for the sleeve to create just a little bit of volume here, and then I did an I-cord bind off as well. She does recommend that for the sleeve in her pattern, but I decided to create a little bit more of a decrease than just binding off straight in all of the stitches that I had. So this is a cropped version, and I used an I-cord bind off at the bottom, which is laying quite beautifully after a nice good soak and block by the fire. So I did stretch this and pin it so that the fabric has a little bit more memory for that place. Yeah, and I'm really quite thrilled. I love the shaping on this shoulder here. This is raglan shaped. It was very different than anything I had done, and I kind of like it. It gives it a little bit of an elegant, sophisticated look. So I'm hopeful that this will work with some of my dresses that I can wear to school. It won't be as cumbersome as some of my bigger, bulkier Icelandic knits that I have, and maybe I'll be able to wear it all day. So this is the Metropolitan Pullover by Tori, and Plotolopi and a strand of lace, and I'm really quite happy with it. So with this off the needles, that kind of left me with the Yell, which is an all over color work by Marie Wallin. And I am on the main part of the color work. So it's just a 2-color all over pattern, and I'm working on that. And I'm working on my Agnes Kofte turned pullover. I talked a little bit about the modifications that I've made for this sweater in my latest Patreon video in January. And I am, like I said, modifying this to be a pullover. So I have looked at the actual stitch count when you split for the sleeves and the bust, and I have taken that number, divided it by her stitch gauge to give me a general idea of what I'm working with, because there is no schematic included with these patterns. So I've kind of created my own schematics, and then looked at my gauge, which I'm getting 6 stitches to the inch, and I believe that the gauge is set for 6.5, so I'm very close. I am then taking into account the amount of the button band, and then I've gone up a size to make sure that I hit the measurements that I want. So I have, last time I was chatting with you, I wasn't really liking the fabric. I have ripped that out. I have redone all the short rows. I've cast on in the round, just an FYI. This is cast on flat originally in the pattern. I cast on the round. I used a little Jen Steinguess kind of Frankenstein reference the internet to do my short rows, and I have worked those from the furthest point in, and I believe on the pattern they're worked from the shortest point out. And so I've created a little bit of a different shape in the neckline, and I did not work that neckline in pattern in the back. So a little bit of a moss stitch, no surprises there for the neckband, and now I am working on the overall yoke pattern. So some of the colors I have swapped out, and I've taken a look at my Spindrift and Jamieson and Smith stash to see if there's anything I like in there. Some things aren't working for me, so I have added a few more colors from that line to the Rauma when what I had in the Rauma didn't really float my boat. But overall, I'm really thrilled with how it's all coming together, and yeah, thoroughly enjoying that. I'm knitting that on a US 4, and so far, some of the modifications I made are detailed over in the Ravelry group, because I have put out there that if you'd like to knit along with me, I am available on Ravelry, and you can certainly email me at fibertrek@gmail.com if you would like to share some thoughts or have questions. And of course, if you see a platform out there that you like to use, then I would encourage you to set up a hashtag or moderate a group and send me that information, and I will send it along so that more people can participate, which is a wonderful thing. So now I haven't mentioned the designer, and that is Wiola Designs. You can find these, you can find the Agnes available in English in her book, which has been translated. It's a digital book, and that is available through her website. If you find things that you like there are other ones that are in Norwegian, but you'd have to translate them yourself. So Wiola Designs, Knit Along, Ravelry, and beyond. So if anybody wants to take that on, feel free. And yeah, I'm using Rauma and a mix of Jamieson, Smith, and Spindrift, and I'm really happy with the way that's going. Now, that leads me to, I've cast off this Plotolopi, and to be honest, I knit the Golf by Vetis Jonsdottir in the Letlopi, and I've been working on this in the Plotolopi, and so I was kind of like, oh, I don't have anything in Lopi or Icelandic yarn around, so I'm kind of feeling like I want to cast something on again. I've just really enjoyed working with this fiber and this preparation. So I don't know, there's just something calling to me. And I also know that I'm going to be traveling, and I need something that doesn't always have to have me referencing a chart or referencing my knitting. And so this past fall, when I was with Patricia of Tidal Yarns, I picked up the yarn to do the Tidal V. Sorry, I had to reference it, by Debra Purcella. And it's knit in a fingering weight, and I got a really beautiful, gorgeous green that's been dyed by Patricia. And so I'm going to take that and cast that on, because that can be easy to take on travels. So I've packed some Plotolopi. I am considering the Pagan Sky by Zanete Knits, and I have also packed with me the Tidal V, and I think that's it. So those are the two that are kind of mulling around, but one is a colorwork yoke. So I'm like, well, you could be working colorwork on other things. That's the knitting, but I am going to be traveling, and that's kind of feeding the knitting concepts and ideas. And I am headed to the New England Fiber Festival on February 2nd, and that is going to be in Boston. Let me get the details for you because I can't remember. The Boston Center for the Arts, Cyclorama, 11 to 5, February 2nd. You do need a ticket, and it is timed entry. There's quite a few different vendors and people participating as special guests, and you can find all of that at newenglandfarmandfiber.com. I believe this is organized by Tammy of Wing and a Prayer, and probably there are other partners, but that's the one that is shining through in my memory. I'll be attending that with my friends who speak. Patricia of Tidal Yarns will be there, and you will be able at some point to find me in her booth. So that is February 2nd in Boston. If you see me, please come say hello. I'd love to see you, and go take a look at the vendors list and see if there's anything that sparkles. So hopefully I'll see you there. The other place I am headed to is the Swiss Yarn Festival. This is happening April 4th through the 6th. It is happening outside of Zurich. I am going with my mother, and I am meeting my friend Sophia over there, and we will be at the Swiss Yarn Festival. And I'm looking forward to getting out and about again. I think last year I did not travel much, but this year apparently seems to be the year of festivals. I did Vermont, I did Rhinebeck, I will do New England Fiber Festival, I will try to get to the Maine Festival, I might get to Spa, which happens in Freeport, and then there is the Swiss Yarn Festival happening. So after the Swiss Yarn Festival, my mom and I and Sophia will be traveling on to Italy for a few days, and then I will be flying home. So I'm looking forward to bringing you all of those adventure content, and it will be an adventure if my mother Sue is participating, so stay tuned for that. The last and final thing I just wanted to highlight is that Gudrun Johnston, one of my favorite designers, has begun a podcast series over on her YouTube station, and I would highly recommend giving that a watch and a listen. There's lots of discussion about Shetland and beautiful yarns and Shetland design and her design, and it's just a comforting, grounded piece of content to enjoy while working on a project or two. And I think on that note, I am going to bid you a fond farewell. I will be, as I said, with my camera at the New England Farm and Fiber Festival, and if I see you there, that's wonderful, but I hope I've got some highlights for you next time we're together. In the meantime, many blessings and fond wishes. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.